Okay, hello everyone. We'll be covering today chapter 6, section 1 for grade 6 final. Okay, so we will try to cover as much as we can. If you have any questions, comment down below. And I'll upload the next chapter 7 as well, if I can. Okay, I won't make any promises, but I'll do my best because I know those chapters are difficult. So let's try. So what happens here is that, let's see. Collinear means that whenever you have co means together and linear means on the same on the line, right? So together on the line, what does that mean? Together on the line, that they have to be on the same line. What does that mean? That look, we can see the examples here so you can better understand. What's BCE? BCE. Now C is on the other line and BE is on the same line. This is not collinear. Collinear, all of the 3 points should be on the same line. The next one, ABC. ABC, all of this. ABC, ABC, all of this, they're on the straight line. They're in a straight line, all of them are on the same line, right? So we will choose this as the answer. The next one, ABD. So ABD. ABD is what? D is on the other line and AB are together. Then CED. CED. So CED is this one. CED, right? This one. So now again, C is on the other line, ED are on the same line. So we're not going to choose this either. So DEB. Now let's check with the last point, DEB. DEB, all of them are on the same line, line S. So we're going to choose this. Now, what did we learn about this? Which of the following is correct way to name line T? So name line T. Now, remember on the name line T, there is A, B, C. All right, there is A, B, C. So now what are we going to do? Is that we have, remember, there's supposed to be that line, a sign on the top as well. So keep that in mind. So what is that? BA? Yes, because we have AB there, so it's BA. Then there is CA, yes. And the last one is BC. Okay, so these 3 points that are on line T. There's the points also on line D. And we took any of the 2 points and we made a line. So BA, BC, and CA. Okay, now the next one. Now we have rays. Whenever we talk about rays, keep in mind that rays, when they're opposite, because all of these options are talking about being opposite. First, they're starting from the same point. So if one goes this side, the other one has to start from B and go to the other side to be opposite rays. Okay, keep that in mind. The next thing is they go in opposite directions and they form a straight line together. Okay, this is forming a straight line, even though my line is a bit crooked, but they are forming the straight line. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment down below. The next one, what do we say? Like, let's check which are the answers which are true. Okay, which are true. So B, C, and BD are not opposite rays as they extend in the same direction. Let's check. Let's draw them out. So BC, BC, and BD, BC and BD, they are not opposite as they extend in the same direction, right? So that's true. They're saying the statement is true. Right? So they're telling us which ones are true. So this is true because they're extending in the same direction. So they're not opposite. Let's see BA and CD. BA and CD are not opposite if they have different endpoints. Let's check that. Okay. Let's make the drawing of that. So BA is here. Let's do BA and CD. Right? That's also true because remember, what did I mention in the starting? That they're supposed to have the same starting point. They don't have a same starting point here. So what is this? This is true as well. BA and CD. Then the last one, BA, and we just have 3 options, right? So we've already found the first 2. The next one is BA and BD. BA and BD. From the same starting point, it's going to the other one. It's making a straight line. It has a same starting point. What is that? That is true. So that is an opposite ray. The next BA and CD again, what is it? BA and CD are, just a minute. BA and CD are opposite? No, because they don't have the same starting point. Ray CA and BD are opposite as they extend in opposite directions. No, because again, they don't have the same starting point. Okay, in this one, what are adjacent angles? Now, adjacent angles, keep in mind that they have one common ray and the vertex is the same. Okay, now I will draw it out for you. I will draw out the answer for you so you can understand what is an adjacent ray and what is not an adjacent ray. Let's start that. HOD and DOF. So HOD and DOF. Sorry, that line extended. DOF. Where's DOF? DOF. Now, what do you see? Okay, I'll choose another color so you can see the overlapping. The DOF. DOF. Okay, now you can see the pink and the yellow, they're overlapping, and the other two rays are going in opposite directions, right? This is what an adjacent angle is, so we'll choose this as the answer. The next one, DOE and HOG. DOE and HOE. So DOE, and let's choose the other one, HOG. So HOG. Now look, there's no overlapping, there's no common ray, so we cannot choose this as the answer. You can draw it out for yourself so it becomes easier. Maybe take a pencil and a blue pen with you and draw it out so it will be easy. Like make it on the paper and draw it out for yourself. Now HOE and another one, EOG. EOG. Now you can see that they have two opposite rays and one that is the common one. So we can choose that, right? These two are our answers. We can choose DOH and EOG. Let's check that. What is that? DOH and EOG. EOG, right? Now these seem like vertical angles and not these seem like vertical angles and not as adjacent angles because they don't have a common ray. So let's remove that. Now the next one, DOF and HOG. Now vertical angles are exactly what I've drawn there, the yellow, the two opposite V's that are forming. Okay, so this is exactly how it's supposed to be. Now let's do HOE and EOG. EOG. Now look at this, they're having a common pair. This is an adjacent angle, not an opposite angle. Okay, the next one, HOE. Now this is HOE and GOF. Okay, this is an opposite angle because again they're forming two opposite V's. So we'll be choosing this, and let's check the last one. DOH, and let's choose another one. GOF. So GOF. Again, you see that? These are two opposite. Sorry. This is a better representation, so we'll be choosing this. DOH. Sorry, not this. DOH and GOF. Okay, DOH and GOF. So this is a better representation of the opposite V's. So always check all the answers, and it's supposed to be opposite V's like that. It's supposed to be like this, not the previous one. So this is the answer. Now let's go to the other one. Which of the following pairs of angles form a linear pair? Now what is a linear pair? Linear pair is exactly the same as adjacent pairs, but the rays, they're supposed to be completely opposite each other, like this. You see this, and then they have a common pair between them. So it will be like this, and the other one like this. So it's supposed to overlap and supposed to go directly opposite each other. Now let's check which options are those. So FOD. So FOD. And GOF. These two. Again, they're overlapping and they're going completely in opposite directions. The next one, we have DOH and let's see, DOH and GOE. GOE. Now look, these two are not forming anything. They don't have a common pair, right? They don't have a common segment. So if you don't have a common segment, it is not an adjacent pair, okay? It's not a linear pair, sorry. So if they don't have a common segment. Let's check the other one. DOF and FOE. FOE. Now look, even though they have the same pair, now let's check that, okay? DOF and FOE. Even though they have a common segment, but they're not opposite each other. This will be a linear pair. It's not an adjacent. They're not adjacent angles. The next one, HOE. So HOE, let's do this, HOE. And let's choose another color, which is blue. HOE and EOF. EOF, this one. Now look at these. These two are completely opposite each other, and they share a common segment. So common ray, sorry. So this is one of them. Now let's choose the other things. Now remember what makes an angle. An angle is whenever there are two lines or two rays that are starting at the same point form an angle. So what is that? This is forming from that same point and also this one. Okay. So now let's check that. So they are forming two rays. They're coming together. They're forming the rays. Okay. The answer is J. Okay, J, because that's where it forms. There are two rays that are starting from the same point. MJI, because remember, whenever you're using three letters to describe an angle, the middle one is the angle that they're talking about. So MJI. The last one, 1. That is forming here. Okay, so these three are angles. Let's go to the next one. Okay, again, we know about the collinear. What does that mean? That they're supposed to be on the same line. Okay, refresh that in your mind. Let's start. AEC, they're on the same line. You'll choose that. AED is not on the same line. We'll not choose that. BED, they're on the same line. We'll be choosing that. So 1 and 3. Next, now here, identify an angle that formed by intersecting line L and M. So line L and M is this one and this one. Okay. So now these two rays, when they're intersecting, that's where the angle is formed. Now let's check. Angle 3 is up here. Nope. That is on angle M and angle, sorry, that's on angle N and S, right? What ray is that? N and L, right? N and L. So no, we're not going to choose that. We need L and M, these two. RST is where RST. This one, again, no, because that is forming by line L and N. So the other one, we have RTS. Again, it's going to form this one. This is forming because of line N and M. N and M. We don't want that either. Then we have SRT. SRT. This one. This is an angle that you want because this is forming. They're talking about angle R. Now, angle R is forming due to angle L and M. You see that? Those two lines are coming together to form an angle. Okay, let's choose that. Angle SRT. Okay. Now what is this? Is that which of the following is true? Select the three correct options. And this should be very easy for you as you can look at it and do the question, right? So here, first of all, TQP is obtuse. Let's check that. So TQP, it is obtuse, right? Because it's like, the sides are very far away from each other. So that's forming an obtuse. Remember, just for reference, this is a right angle, and anything bigger than that goes on these two sides is your obtuse. Anything that causes them to become closer, that's acute. Right? Remember, so if they're getting closer together, they're acute. Okay, now the next one. Let's choose RQT. RQT, let's check what RQT is. So RQT, again, you can see that that's a right angle. You can also draw it out for yourself so you don't get confused with the rest of the rays. Okay, so RQT, this one, you can see that is the right angle. So we'll be choosing that. RQT, and now the last one. Now, okay, let's check SQT as well. I skipped SQT. So SQT is this, and that is an acute, right? Because the angle is smaller than the right angle. SQT. Now RQS, if you'd like me to talk about the rest as well, RQS is acute. It's not obtuse because look, the lines are coming together. They're closer. PQS, their thing is acute. PQS, no, because the lines are further apart. So what is further apart from the right angle as well? So what is that? Acute. Nope, it's not acute, it's obtuse. And PQS is right? No, it's not. PQS is obtuse. It's not right, it's not acute. Let's go to the next one. Okay, now this one, which of the following is true? Select all that apply. So you can see that now 2 and 4 are adjacent. They're saying 2 and 4 are adjacent. So that is true because remember, what does adjacent mean? They are rays that are opposite, right? And then they have one line that they're shading and the other line is also opposite. So they are adjacent. Let's choose that as our answer. The next one, angle 3 and 2 are vertical. So angle 3 and 2 are not vertical because they're not opposite each other, right? So I'll tell you which are vertical are 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are vertical, but 3 and 2 are not vertical. So we're not going to choose that. 2 and 3 form a linear pair. So 2 and 3 form a linear pair. Yes, they do. Remember, they are two opposite rays. And then there's two opposite rays and there's shading a common ray between them. So what is that? 2 and 3 form a linear pair. So there you go. These two are your answers. Again, 2 and 1 form a linear pair. No, they're opposite each other. Look, this is what is forming angle 1. And this is forming angle 2. They're vertical. They're not linear pair. Linear pair, you need to have a common ray between them. Okay, what about this one? Again, talking about collinear. What do we learn about collinear? That they're supposed to be on the same line, right? Same line and together. So QPT, yes, they are on the same line. And then the other one, PTR, no, they're not on the same line because PT are on the same line, then R is on the next line. And then SPR, again, they're on the same line. Now here, remember opposite rays. What were the rules that we studied for opposite rays? They're supposed to have the same starting point, and they're supposed to go in the opposite direction, form a straight line. So keep that in mind. ZS and YS. So ZS and YS. ZS goes in this direction and YS goes in this direction. They don't even have the same starting point, so we can't choose this as an answer. The next one, sorry, let me make the color a bit less dark. Okay, so X, Z, and Z. So X, Z is this direction, and then Z, X, it's going in this direction. Again, let's check. Let's make it with another color so we see it better. Okay, and we start from XZ is going in this direction, and the other one ZX is going in this direction. No, because they don't start from the same starting point. They're supposed to have one starting point that's together. I can show that to you as we go to the next option. XZ, look, this one is going in this direction from the same starting point. It's starting from the same X, it's going to the other one. XS, look, from the same part starting from X. And then they're forming a straight line in opposite direction. So this is going to be your answer, XD and XS. Let's go to the next one. Which of the following identifies an angle formed from intersecting line K and M? Now let's see K and M. Remember, the rays are supposed to be intersecting. So K and M. Now you automatically know where are these two lines coming together, angle C and 1. So either they will be having angle C in between, so there will be a letter here, C, and then another letter here, or it just be angle 1. We have angle 1, so we can just go towards that and write that as our answer. Let's go to the next one. We're nearly done. Here, which of the following statements are not to be true? Are not true. So let's see those. We have angle DIF appears to be obtuse. Okay, DIF appears to be obtuse. So DIF, nope. DIF is not obtuse. That's a 90 degree. Okay, let's choose that. We found the answer in the first one. Let me explain the rest of them. So we have CID. CID appears to be acute. So CID appears to be acute. Yes, it is acute. The lines are coming together, closer together than a 90 degree. Remember, 90 degree is this, and any line that's coming closer together, that forms an acute. The next one is our CIE. So CIE, remember, draw it out. CIE is, like, remember, it's making a 90 degree. So don't get confused, please. That is making a 90 degree. The next one, CIF. CIF, where CIF? So CIF is obtuse. Remember, so it is true. So this is true. The next one, EIF. EIF is acute. Yes, it is acute because the lines are coming together. Now the next one is which of the following? Which of the following is not true? So which of the following is not true? Now let's understand that. So ESD, and let's choose another color, ESD and DSB. DSB. They're saying they have a common ray, and they're going in opposite direction. It is a linear pair, so it is true. So we can't choose that as an answer. The next one, let's check. ESD. Let's choose another color, ESD and DSC. DSC. Again, they have a common pair and they're going in opposite direction, not completely opposite each other, but they are in opposite direction. That is adjacent angle. So that's true as well. Let's write T here. And then we have BSC and CSC. So let's see that. BSC and CSC. So BSC and CSC. It's forming the angle like this. Nope, that is, I don't think we have studied anything similar to that, so none of those. That is not true. Sorry, just let me draw it out again. BSC, sorry, I drew it out correctly. BSC and CSC now. CSC. So what is CSC? Again, they do form a linear pair because they have a common ray between them and they're going in opposite direction. That's true as well. The next one is ESD. So ESD is going in opposite direction. ESD and ASB. ASB is like this. They are vertically opposite. Yep, they are, because remember they're forming a V that is facing opposite. So that is true. So now the last one which is left is going to be incorrect. Let's draw it out. So ASB and BSC. So BSC, that is a adjacent pair. That's not vertically opposite because they're sharing a common segment. So common ray, sorry. Now, which line segment is formed on the line? Now, look, the segment is supposed to have this kind of line on top of it. Which line segment is formed on line Q? So line Q, which segment is forming? FEF. Let's go to the next one. Fill in the blank with 3 letters to identify an angle in the figure that is adjacent to DOB. Now, what is DOB? Let's color it out. DOB. Now, you know what is supposed to be adjacent. It's supposed to overlap with the same segment. The same segment that will overlap is BO. That is the common segment that they will share, and will go in the opposite direction. That will be this. So BOA. So let's see how they have written it. They wrote DOB, so we'll write AOB. We'll follow the same pattern that they have written in AOB. Let's go to the next one. Here, this will be also very quick. XOZ is what? It's your right. Sorry, XOZ, yes. Then WOX is going to be your obtuse. The next one is YOZ is going to be, sorry, YOZ is going to be acute. And then the last one is acute as well. How many line segments are formed by intersecting of these lines? You can see how many line segments are formed? 3. And which of the following is a segment with endpoint L? So which ones are L, NL, and LM, right? So how are we supposed to see that? That is a segment, so it's not supposed to have any of the arrows. So it'll be, sorry, LM and NL. Okay. Thank you for your time, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.